Good afternoon, and welcome to the Virtual Graphic Novel Club. My name is Erica.
And I'm rolling.
And today we're going to be talking about one of Marvel's iconic characters who happens to be Black, who is Falcon.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start off with the history of the Falcon. Erica, why don't you take on his original history, and I'll jump in when he decides to change monikers.
All right. Because we won't just be talking about Falcon today, we will also be talking about Captain America. So his history is Falcon. In 1969, Stan Lee, the iconic Stan Lee, and the artist Gene Colan introduced Sam Wilson in Captain America number 117 in September of '69. Artist Gene Colan got the idea of Falcon partly as a response to the civil rights movement, and he stands out as an empowering character. He wanted Falcon to not just be a sidekick, but he wanted him to be a character that can be looked up to. So Sam is originally from the neighborhood of Harlem in New York City. He was raised by his minister father, Paul, and his stay-at-home mom, Darlene. This instilled a sense of justice and fairness in his young self as a child. His father was killed in front of him in a gang-related fight that he was trying to break up, and he ended up being murdered. Sam's mother also was killed later during a mugging on the streets of Harlem, and it left him alone to raise his brothers and sister. Sam raised his siblings, but he never lost hope of what his father preached. And so as he grew up, he had a talent also for communicating with birds. Eventually, his world travels brought him to a falcon named Redwing, who would become more of a friend than a pet. That is Redwing there on his arm, his outfit. The way he was introduced to Captain America in the first issue of Captain America, Sam and his Falcon Redwing find out that there are a group of Nazis on an island called Exile. That on this island, they were enslaving indigenous tribes. The Nazis were under the leadership of Red Skull, of course, and Falcon and Captain America teamed up to bring down Red Skull, and that's also, what's the name of that brigade that he had there, Captain?
Captain America and the Howling Commanders.
Howling Commanders, yes. And so once they freed the indigenous tribes, Captain America encouraged Sam to take up this superhero named Falcon and continue to help others. Captain noted that he did not want a sidekick, but he was looking for a partner. So that's how Sam was introduced to Captain America, and they were now billed Captain America and the Falcon. He stayed close to Captain America and joined other teams such as the Defenders and the Avengers. Together, Falcon and Captain America tackled everything from racism to poverty. They handled supervillains like Stoneface, the Grey Gargoyle, Hydra, and of course, Red Skull. Wilson switched from his original green and orange costume that you see there to a more familiar red and white one that we'll see later. I think this is it right here, the red and white costume, especially the one down at the bottom with his chest all out. Falcon's fighting style reached a whole new level too when he donned wings developed by Black Panther. With his new gear, he was continuing to fight alongside Captain America. After a brief stint with the Defenders, Wilson begrudgingly accepted an invitation to join the Avengers that was based partly on his status as a minority hero. Not a fan of being considered a token, Falcon still signed on to help the team battle the Absorbing Man, a Chithian-possessed Scarlet Witch, Grey Gargoyle, and the Inferno before he resigned. After embarking on his new solo mission, Falcon rejoined Steve Rogers when the Red Skull nearly orchestrated Cap's death, before briefly passing away himself. Around this time, he also made friends with Luke Cage and Danny Rand, who are known as Power Man and Iron Fist, also Luke Cage. but he changed his name later to Power Man. Falcon also stood by Rogers when he decided to give up the title of Captain America and change his name to the Captain. During Wanda Maximoff's attack on the Avengers, she destabilized Sam's mind to the point where Snap Wilson, a personality resurfaced. Snap Wilson was a Red Skull plant agent planted on the West Coast that looked just like Sam, but he did not act like Sam. And it was meant to kind of, it was one of the storylines in the 70s. So when Wanda does this, she makes him erratic and dangerous. This not only ruined Sam's run for Congress, because he was running for Congress at the time, but also made him retire from heroics altogether. He returns as Falcon and stood by Steve when they first suspected and later confirmed that Bucky Barnes had returned as the Winter Soldier. Falcon flew close to both Steve and Bucky after the latter's memories returned to him. So he grew a friendship with Bucky. Just similar, not as, he was not very trusting of Bucky in the beginning. It kind of is the same storyline that's in the MCU. This is where that storyline came from. During Bucky's stint as Captain America, because Bucky does become Captain America, but we're not talking about him today. After the events of Civil War, Falcon continued watching the new Captain America's back. In the process, he became embroiled in the Red Skull plot to destroy Steve Rogers. But ultimately, he helped fight the villain's plan and brought his longtime friend back. Even after Rogers returned, Bucky continued to serve as Captain America with Falcon. Together, they took down William Burnside's, the 1950s Cap, who went insane and took over the Watchdogs. After Rogers reclaimed his Captain American identity, the world believed Bucky was dead. Falcon rejoined the Avengers, and they struggled to understand the alternate reality incursions that threatened reality. He also became a volunteer in New York-based Mighty Avengers and the Heroes for Hire before moving on to his next milestone.
All right, so his next milestone will be that of Captain America. After Steve Rogers lost his abilities and was physically advanced to his actual age by the villain Iron Nail, he passed the mantle of Captain America to Wilson. Wielding the shield, as well as a new costume that integrated Cap's symbols and colors with his winged suit, Sam got right to work defending the innocent and forging his own path as a superhero. Almost immediately after Sam took over, Baron Zemo led a ferocious attack on the world, utilizing many of Cap's villains like Baron Blood, Crossbones, and Sin, who is the Red Skull's daughter. Mm-hmm. During his battle with Blood, Redwing fell victim to the vampire. Vampirism affects birds differently, so he could go out in the sun, but also benefited from the newfound powers. Sam served as Captain America through the reality-shaking events of Secret Wars and came out on the other side still wielding the shield. Aided by Misty Knight and D-Man, Sam continued blazing his own trail as Cap, which ruffled more than a few feathers of those birds who didn't want to see any change in that hallowed identity. At this time, Carlin Malice experimented on a kidnapped Mexican teenager named Joaquin Torres and combined his DNA with a captured Redwing's DNA, creating a human-bird hybrid who became the new Falcon.
Yes. And on top of that, I put down a few little tidbits that I came across as I was doing my research. The fact that Falcon did not get his first solo book until 2017. So like all that time, he was teamed as Cap and Falcon, and he was in and out of the Avengers and the Defenders. Right. But he didn't get his own solo book till 2017, and we'll talk about some of the people who were part of that book later. And also in 1983, they tried to make Sam a mutant. They put Professor Xavier looked into him because of his connection with Redwing and other birds. They thought that maybe he was a mutant because of his powers. And it wasn't that he had powers, he just had a strong connection to birds. Right. But ended up, that storyline was canceled in 2001, and they reconned back to his original story that came in 69. See, that is Sam Wilson.
All right, so we jump into his allies, and the first one, and I want to say most notable because it wasn't a sidekick, it was more of a tool. But Red Wing was actually a trained Falcon that Sam had trained, and the two share an emotional bond and an even stronger one, more on that shortly, that helps them battle foes together. Red Wing even stayed by Falcon's side when he took up Captain America's shield. Sam has a telepathic connection with birds, especially with Red Wing. Professor Xavier wondered if he might be a mutant, but that proved not to be the case. After, like we said before, after the attack on Red Wing by Baron Blood, Red Wing gained vampiric qualities, which basically made him the mutant in the relationship. In the MCU, Red Wing is not a bird, but a Stark Industries drone outfitted with weaponry and tech by S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's true. Yeah.
So
If you watch the TV show, you get to see Red Wing a lot.
right.
I don't really see him a lot in the movies, but he's there. I know he's there.
Well, you know, he's always flying on the side
Yeah,
in the movie.
I know he's there. It's
Yeah.
just in the TV show, they gave him more.
Well, he's more of a weapon. So.
Yeah. It's okay. I would have loved a live bird. but
Right,
it's okay.
right.
All right, next on the list is Captain America Steve Rogers. His first appearance in Marvel was Captain America Comics #1. That was in March of 1941. Captain America, AKA Steve Rogers, is the first Avenger. He was rejected by the US Army during World War II due to his numerous health problems. He ultimately volunteered for the Project Rebirth, and where he received the super soldier serum developed by Dr. Abraham Erickson. Rogers and others helped the Allies win the war, but not before he was lost at sea and formed in frozen in ice that suspended animation for decades. He was thawed out in modern age to continue the battle alongside his new allies, the Avengers. Cap is loyal to no politician or government, and instead upholds the timeless principles of freedom, equality, and justice of the American dream. When Sam and Cap met on the Isle of Exile, he was so impressed with Sam's skills that he encouraged him to become a hero. They would team up often, and Sam was not Captain's sidekick, but friend and ally.
Yeah, and next we come to the infamous Winter Soldier, James Buchanan Bucky Barnes. First appearance as Bucky was in the original Captain America Comics #1 of March 1941. As the Winter Soldier, it was Captain America #1, January 2005. And as Captain America, it was Captain America #34, January 2008. Bucky was a tough kid who spent his whole life on army bases. He proved himself strong enough to take on the role of Captain America's sidekick during World War II. The pair fought the Axis powers throughout the big one until Bucky perished in a scheme orchestrated by the original Baron Zemo. For years, Captain America believed his partner dead, but the Russians came upon Barnes' body in the ocean and turned the amnesiac into the perfect killing machine. Upon proving difficult to control, the Russians decided to put him in cryo freeze between missions, giving birth to the legendary Winter Soldier. Eventually, Captain America came into contact with this Winter Soldier, recognized his old partner, and used a cracked cosmic cube to return his friend's memories. After the captain was murdered by Sharon Carter on the courthouse steps before his trial for treason started due to the events of the Civil War, Bucky took up the mantle of Captain America. Sam teamed up with him to find out the real killer of Cap. Sharon Carter was being controlled by Red Skull and Hydra. The plan failed. Cap did not die, but went into hibernation as his body.
Yep. But he still continued to be Captain America when Cap came back. Next on our list is Demolition Man. His first appearance was in The Thing, #28, in this corner in June 1985. Now, is that the same thing that's the horror movies are?
No, Fantastic Four thing.
Oh, that thing. Okay, great. Dennis Dunphy Dumpy received his superpowers from the power broker strength augmentation process. After receiving the treatment, he pursued a career as a wrestler called Demolition Dumpy in the UCWF, Unlimited Class Wrestling Federation.
No, that's just in the
Okay. To pay back his debt to the power broker, while wrestling, he befriended the Thing and won the ever-loving blue-eyed Behemoth adoration with his integrity and his refusal to throw a fight. The two became good friends until the Thing quit wrestling. That's unfair. He's the Thing. Years later, Dumpy helped Captain America investigate the Power Brokers organization, and after Captain America had fought another recipient of the process, the Super Patriot, Dennis was ecstatic to be working with one of his favorite superheroes and aptly designed a costume for himself similar to Daredevil's and Wolverine's. Oh, okay. And adopted the superhero name Demolition Man, or D-Man for short. The two eventually uncovered the power broker had military backing from a corrupt CO, and after the adventure, Steve remained good friends with Dennis. When Steve Rogers was forced to give up his identity as Captain America, Dennis returned as D-Man and gathered the Falcon and Nomad to try and track down and help the missing Steve. Later, when the makeshift group disbanded, D-Man was the only one to remain by Steve's side. Fighting alongside Steve as the captain, D-Man often was conflicted with his own feelings of inadequacy. And these were made worse when he was beaten in a fight with Titania. After this bout, D-Man took to try to avoid fights, going along so far as hide from villains. He was like, I'm not getting beat up again out here. Although he began as one of Captain's closest allies during a difficult time for the patriotic hero, much of his life following that has proven hard. Recently, he started working with Sam Wilson's pilot as Sam Wilson's pilot and failed backup. So that is the D-Man.
All right, so next up we have Joaquin Torres, the Falcon, whose first appearance was in Captain America Sam Wilson #1, October 2015. Human Falcon teenager Joaquin Torres becomes a hero, taking the moniker Falcon and becoming a sidekick to the original holder of that alias, Sam Wilson. He is a human Falcon hybrid. Born in Mexico, Joaquin Torres at age 6 moved to Tucson, Arizona in North America with his mom and grandmother. As a teenager, he becomes a Samaritan, providing food, water, and medicine to border crossers. At age 17, while on a water run, the racist group Sons of the Serpent kidnap him, taking him to New York City to Dr. Carlin Malice, aka Dr. Carl Malice, to be experimented upon. Performing genetic experiments on Joaquin using the vampiric Falcon Red Wing's genetic material, Malice turns him into a Falcon-human hybrid, which gives him wings, a regenerative healing factor, and a psychic link to Red Wing, Falcon's bird. Through proxy, because he has a connection with Red Wing, that also gives him a connection with Sam Wilson, the original Falcon and current Captain America. So they can't pass messages directly to each other, but they use basically the bird is like the walkie-talkie. They can mentally talk between the bird.
Now, how do you think they're going to do that in the MCU? Saying they introduced him, but the Falcon
think about the storyline that they introduced him into. We have not seen Dr. Carl Malice yet in the MCU. But, they switched the story around so that Sharon Carter was the power broker. So now, with the power broker being the one that's out there augmenting the soldiers, my bet is that she's going to somehow augment him.
So instead of him being a hybrid of a bird, he's going to be...
Well, no, he may still be, somehow they may make him a hybrid of bird, but what I think is he's going to start out a super soldier. And remember, he is actually the one who repairs Red Wing, the drone version of Red Wing in the live action series. So that's what I think. I think he's gonna end up being a super soldier, but he's gonna go the same route that Falcon goes. But you know what I'm saying? He's gonna take over the moniker of Falcon, maybe using the black, gray, and red suit, because now the original Falcon is Captain America, and they're probably gonna come out with a movie with all the caps in it, because you know it's like 5 or 6, maybe about 5 or 6 of them, including John Walker.
Of course.
So,
Of course, Mr. Walker.
and that's Joaquin Torres, the Falcon.
All right. And our last of on our list of allies is Rayshawn Lucas, who is Patriot. His first appearance in Captain America, Sam Wilson, number 18 in 2007, January 2017, he appears as Sean Lucas. And in Secret Empire, Brave New World, number 2 in June 2017, he appears as Patriot. Sean Lucas is from Brooklyn and lives with his mother. After Sam resigned as Captain America, Sean drew designs for a costume he called Patriot. Now, this was due to the fact that there was an incident in Brooklyn where a man was set up to take the fall for a crime that he did not commit. In the process, the neighborhood got together and they were looting, and Rayshawn was a part of this, and he drew from that riot. He drew from that riot mentality, basically. But after he saw Sam Wilson resign as Captain America, Sam became his idol. And he drew his costume and he called himself the Patriot. Sean became a part of the resistance, and then he reached out to the real underground online and met Viv, who arranged to meet him in Las Vegas, where he was rescued from Hydra Dreadnoughts and the rest of the champions before being taken to the Mount, where he gave the files to a Tony Stark AI. I don't know if Tony was, this was after Civil War, so right. Tony was kind of staying in hiding after this. To thank Sean for restoring his hope, Tony built him a shield based on the designs for a new Patriot. He also programmed a Natasha Romanoff AI to help train him. And in relative short order, Sean was already becoming a fine combatant as the all-new Patriot. He is currently Falcon's apprentice. So he's a pretty new character, 2017.
Let's see, that's another one of the characters that I believe is going to be in the,
Wasn't he introduced?
in the new Captain America movie. They say that they're going to have, it's going to be Captain America, Steve Rogers.
And Patriot.
It's going to be Captain America, Sam Wilson. It's going to be Captain America, John Walker. There's going to be what was the elder Captain America?
Oh, I could see him.
The first black man.
Yeah.
What is his name? Okay, we'll come back.
Yeah, because I thought they introduced this character because, you know, that character and the other Patriot are DNA related.
Oh, okay.
Like it's the one that's in the new, the Young Avengers. That's his like lineage grandson and some sort of, they're connected in some sort of way in the comics. But yes, but he's the new Patriot, this guy here. Yep.
All right, so next up we have his, let's take a look into the Falcons enemies. His first enemy, Rafe Michelle, or Rafi Michelle. First appearance, Captain America number 143, November 1971. Rafi Michelle was a militant activist in Harlem. He was very concerned about equal rights for African Americans in the community. His views often put him in conflict with the more moderate Falcon. Rafi further complicated the dynamic with the Falcon by having a relationship with the Falcon's romantic interest, Layla Taylor. Despite their differences, Rafi and a group of concerned citizens helped rescue the Falcon when he was kidnapped and beaten by Captain America 4, the 50s Cap, and Jack Monroe. However, the Falcon and Rafi soon quarreled again over Layla. A frustrated Michelle assembled his gang, the Silver Skulls, to beat the Falcon. However, the Falcon was able to defeat the gang, and Michelle soon lost his prominence in the Harlem community. Later, Rafi Michelle was exposed to the ionic energy of Lucifer. Lucifer could not contain his energy on Earth's dimension in one human body and placed a portion of his essence in Rafi while placing another part in the second Aries. The two Lucifers soon came into conflict with Steve Rogers and the Falcon. Eventually, the energy from Lucifer could not be contained in Rafi Michelle's body and he perished. Yeah, that was one of his original hood foes.
Yeah, his blaxploitation.
Yeah.
All right, next song is,
if you go back, we're gonna give a shout out right here. Go back to that last. He looks like one of our patrons, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're not gonna call him. He looks like one of our patrons. Mad and angry the same way.
All right. He's one of our favorite patrons, don't we? We would let him know that he looks like this guy to his face. This is not any ill will to him. One of our faves. But next on our list is Diamond Head. His first appearance was in Captain America number 126, The Fate of the Falcon, Captain America, June 1970. Diamond Head is the leader of the Diamond Heads gang in Harlem. This is one of those original villains on Falcon. They frame the Falcon for murder and are wanted by the police. Captain America comes to Harlem looking for his friend Sam. When he finds out he's surrounded by police inside his building, Captain America manages to get inside the building and find Sam. He gives Sam his costume in order to change his appearance and ducks by the police dressed as Captain America. Later, Diamond Heads are confronted by Captain America and the Falcon at a new warehouse that just opened up in Harlem. A fight ensues, and the Diamond Head gangs is taken down by Captain America and Falcon. Captain America removes the mask of Diamond Head to reveal his identity as Rocky the Lynx, who is actually one of Magai's top lieutenants. He's using Diamond Heads in order to cause trouble in Harlem so the Magai can come in and take over.
Now,
Maggie
crime family. That's the big crime family. That's
what they mentioned.
Yeah, they're mentioned all over the MCU.
Yeah.
Yes, they're gonna bring them up. I mean, but it's probably gonna be. These aren't superpowered beings. This is just a regular crime family.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering, is this the first time he's put on the Captain America suit?
Well, yes.
Because he gave Captain America gave him the suit
to switch out.
But now they didn't notice that Captain America all of a sudden was black.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. There were some things you ignore because he's dressed as Captain America.
Right.
Where did Captain America get the police officer uniform from? There's a lot of things that were not explained there, but okay.
All right. So our next enemy, or should we say group of enemies, is the Serpent Society. The first appearance was Captain America number 310, October of 1985. The Serpent Society is a business enterprise of criminals and mercenaries whose costume identities are based on snakes. The society remains one of the best organized and most successful coalitions of criminals in operation today in Marvel Comics. Viper Jordan Dixon took the reins of the Serpent Society and reinvented them as the Serpent Solutions, a company involved in dubious dealings with big business, using bankrolled facilities all over the United States and personnel from both Hydra and AIM to become involved in genetic experiments, initially the cosmetic industry, but with sights on other areas of the economy, including the military-industrial complex. Their modus operandi involved getting hired by big companies to do their dirty work, and subsequently sell the work back at a huge profit while giving their employers plausible deniability of any involvement. When he was trying to gather info on the Serpent Solutions with Diamondback, Captain America, aka Sam Wilson, was attacked by Puff Adder, Black Racer, and Cotton. During the fight, Cap unfortunately discovered that Diamondback was working with the Serpent Society after being stabbed by her with a poison dagger that knocked him down. The Serpent Society brought Cap to their Serpent Tower in Wall Street and kept him paralyzed using Asp Venom Bolt. After giving Captain America a speech on the supposedly righteous nature of his business that would save the economy and make America marvelous again, Viper threw Sam out of the window. However, Sam was rescued from falling to his death by his most recent ally, the winged mutate Joaquin Torres. The Serpent Society soon caught up to the two heroes, and Joaquin held his own against the villains until Captain America could recover from the paralysis and more reinforcements could arrive in the form of Misty Knight and D-Man. Additionally, after Viper's attempts to kill Sam and young Joaquin, Diamondback had a change of heart and helped the heroes. In the end, the Serpent Society was defeated. Their business was shut down and they were arrested by a SWAT team.
That is the Serpent Society. And last on our list is Dr. Carlin Malice. Like you said, he has not been introduced in the MCU, so he's a new.
I believe he's coming.
He's coming.
Yeah.
All right, his first appearance was in Spider-Woman number 30, who is also she's going to be introduced in the next animated one, Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
She's being played by Issa Rae, Spider-Man. So June 1980 is when he was introduced. Dr. Carl was fascinated by the subject of superhuman powers since the first time he read a newspaper account of the superhero team Fantastic Four. Upon graduating with his degree in biology from the University of California in Los Angeles, he applied to various institutions for grants to study supernormal capacities in depth. Unable to get any funding through legal means, Malice contacted a certain wealthy investor active in Los Angeles underworld. They set up a laboratory facility that he immodestly called the Institute of Supernormative Research. Okay, that's not suspicious at all, despite the fact that he compromised its entire staff. The underworld provided him with the human test subjects to experiment upon, usually individuals the mob sought to liquidate. Malice hoped to eventually to find an individual who was already had superhuman powers, so that he could study. In the course of his research, Malice came up with a number of special toxins and other chemical-based weaponry. Most of his subjects were illegal immigrants captured by the Sons of Serpent and met on the Mexican-American border. These individuals were later brought to New York where Malice experimented on them, turning them into animal hybrids. When Captain America, aka Sam Wilson, tracked his operations down, Malice used his symbiotic abilities to capture and turn him into Catwolf. After being liberated from Malice's old warehouse by Misty Knight, Captain America followed him and subdued him, taking advantage of the symbiote's natural weaknesses against the high-pitched sounds by using his companion Red Wing sonic cannon.
Okay, so now let's get to this because it was not stated in what we did, but he had he was attacked and maintained a piece of the symbiote, the same symbiote that created Venom and Carnage.
Yeah.
So he has that living within him. Okay, so and that's another reason why I say he may be shown. But as I looked it up, and guess what? He hasn't been introduced in the MCU, but he was introduced across the line of Marvel Netflix shows.
See.
He was the doctor who killed himself in his lab when he blew his lab up because Jessica Jones and Trish Walker were after him. You know what I'm saying? So he basically had done not an experiment, but he was supposed to have been saving one of their friends, and she disappeared. She was still alive, but she disappeared and they didn't know where she was. But when they found out that she was still alive, they confronted him, and to keep his work from being discovered, he destroyed his lab, and subsequently he died in an explosion. Yeah. So he actually appeared in Jessica Jones.
Gotcha. All right.
Dr. Carl Malice. All right, so a lot of these other foes that we did not get into, but are part of the original Captain America mythos from Steve Rogers, whom Sam Wilson basically inherited these villains. As you can see, we have the Red Skull and Baron Helmut Zemo. Basically, all the ones that have MCU counterparts, or we have them right here. So you have the Red Skull, Baron Zemo, Arnim Zola, which is the little old man who you see in the TV screen. They did something special with Flag Smasher. Flag Smasher, who was an original Captain America enemy. When they brought it to the MCU, they changed, instead of it being a him because of his ideals, they changed it to a whole organization. And his name was Carl Morgenthau. So if you notice, they just changed it, gender swapped it, and made the leader a young lady, Carlin Morgenthau. Batroc the Leaper, who is the French assassin and mercenary, he's been in several MCU movies. He's the one, you remember when they raided, I can't remember if this is a Captain America or an Avengers movie, but in the beginning of the movie, they went into they raided a freighter, a ship. And remember the guy that was doing backflips over the thing, kicking everybody in the back of the head? Okay, so that's Batroc. He's also in the Falcon. He's the one that the Falcon fought in the beginning of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. All right. These last, Baron von Strucker, he's not as menacing in the MCU as he is. He's more of he's like the power broker almost. Then you have the weirdo MODOK.
I just think of the TV show.
I was just fixing to say, who's only, right now, he's only in animated form. And if you look at him, you see why. And then there's the Captain America, the Secret Empire Captain America, the Hydra Cat, who Sam Wilson had to go against. And, we found out that he was being mind controlled or whatnot. But yeah, those are the Captain America foes that we're looking forward to seeing, or if we have not already seen.
Gotcha. Okay. Here's Sam and other media animated series, The Avengers.
Yeah, so right here.
And there's the little Avengers.
Superhero squad. In the middle, that I placed that is the comic. That is one of the comic versions of the Falcon, but that's the ultimate version when they did the ultimate. So it's more military. It's more like the MCU. I think they pulled a lot of the MCU characters they pulled from the ultimate Marvel Ultimates, because that's where you get the Black Nick Fury, and some of the other characters that have changed.
All right, and that's what we have for today. These are some of the works cited we have. If you want to check out for yourself where we got our information from, here's where it is. We also not too many today. We also have Comics Plus. Just a reminder, if you have a Clayton County Library System card, you have access to Comics Plus, and there is no hold or waiting list on any of these things. You can get offline access through your tablet, computer, or smartphone to read when you're not online. Or you can read online if you want to, it's up to you. But you can sign up for your Comics Plus account today by going to our website, claytonpl.org, and look under Learning and Research, and check out Comics Plus just by clicking on the icon. And in 2 weeks, on March 1st, can't believe I'm saying that already, it's March. In 2 weeks, we will be covering one of DC's female groups. It's a mixture of good guys and bad guys. So, but we'll be covering female Furies for March, which is also Women's History Month. My favorite, Big Barda, is here. So we will cover that on March 1st at 2 I'm sorry, at 4 o'clock. Ooh, that's gracious. 4 o'clock, but you can check us out, you can join us on our YouTube channel because we stream live. And you can also join us on our YouTube channel later and leave us comments. If there's something you want to see or a character you want us to cover, don't hesitate to reach out to us at our Gmail account there at cclsfpstaff@gmail.com.
Can't wait to learn about Mad Harriet.
Yep.
That's a character I've never, I've seen her before, but never
Yeah.
looked into. So,
All of these characters are going to be, I'm familiar with the female Furies only due to their connection to Apocalypse.
right. Yeah, I'm only
And
Mr. Miracle.
Big Marta and Mr. Miracle, of course, but then you
Right.
have Granny Goodness,
Right.
who is the leader of the female Furies. Not the leader, but more of the orchestrator.
Well, she looks like the wolf man that used to sell furniture here in Atlanta back in the day.
All right, guys, we will catch you guys in 2 weeks on March 1st.